Good morning and welcome to Sports on the Weekend Show. My name is Odiri Akpan. Today, I'd like to start the show with a quote from American artistic gymnast and Olympic champion Simone Biles. She says this morning that she doesn't really like to think of the degree of difficulty or the possibility of making a mistake. Instead, she likes to try and relax and let her preparation and training take over. More like when you want to write an exam or there's a particular almost impossible task you want to face in the tomorrow, in the future, or next week. You just have to relax, and you've been prepared for it, so I think you just relax and let your training take over. Okay, so this morning I'm not alone on the show. I have Victor Adebayo with me on the sports segment. Welcome to the show, Victor.
Good morning, Odiri. It's a pleasure to be here once again and striking alongside you as well.
Okay, so let's start off quickly. We'll start off with Cardiff City. Yes. Cardiff City are currently seeking a settlement discussion with Nantes in France. Now, we will recall that Cardiff City signed Emiliano Sala from Nantes. Now, the player died before he was officially unveiled. I'm not sure I'm getting this story right, because we saw pictures of where he was unveiled.
Yeah.
So, Cardiff City was supposed to pay £15 million to Nantes.
Yeah.
In 3 installments. The problem is the player died before the first installment was paid. Now, Nantes were waiting for their first installment, they didn't get it. Now, Cardiff City has retracted, I beg your pardon, and said, okay, that they will not pay the money because the player died, right? Now, I'm not so sure about the legal terms or why they decided to retract on the contract or go back on the contract or the agreement they had with Nantes, but the question is, it goes to our moral and principles. You know, you have a contract with someone. You agreed that you're going to have pay this person 3 times, and then whatever it is you're paying for, you don't get the service.
Yeah.
You still have to pay the money.
You still have to pay the money. You know, it's unfortunate that we lost Emiliano Sala rather. And the deal was what, about £15 million, making him the record signing for Cardiff City. But it boils down to greed. You know, when you look at the whole scenario, you have to look at there's this huge element of greed here. The truth is, this guy almost got this deal finalized. You know, we saw there was this picture online surfacing online as at then, him, you know, uploading himself wearing a Cardiff City jersey. Yeah. Just for him to fly back to Nantes, say goodbye to his pals, his old ex-teammates, come back to Wales, Cardiff, Wales, and start a new career in England. But I think it boils down to greed here, and this situation needs to be sorted out with immediate alacrity.
Let's not forget some principles of football transfers, okay? Now, there's no reason why Emiliano Sala will travel from France to England without Cardiff City having an agreement in place with Nantes.
For sure, for sure.
Because if you do that, it's called tap-up. And, you know, most times we have tap-up cases in football and it's hidden. You really don't see anything. You don't hear the player traveled. But maybe there was a phone call and he spoke to the other club's manager. That's a tap-up. But this, we saw pictures of him with a Cardiff City jersey at Cardiff City Football Club in front of the stadium, and then you come back tomorrow and say you're not paying the money. Well, Nantes actually reported Cardiff to FIFA, and FIFA has said, okay, by the 15th of April, and there's no agreement between both clubs, they will step in and try to solve the issue. So that is where this is coming up. That's why Cardiff City sent a request to Nantes to try and sit together and try and settle the issue. But let's move on away from there to Fulham. Right now, they are the latest club to be relegated from the English Premier League, because Huddersfield Town was relegated last weekend. Now, during the week, on Tuesday to be precise, Fulham lost 4-1 to Watford City. Now, Fulham needed to avoid defeat to have any chance whatsoever of not being relegated. Now, if they had avoided defeat, they would have maybe tried to work hard, really hard. You know how you have to work hard to avoid survivor. But the big question in my head really is, you didn't work hard from the beginning of the season. This is like week 32. And then you all of a sudden you wake up and say, oh, I could get relegated. You want to fight now? Yeah. Okay. But unfortunately, they lost. True to character, they lost 4-1 away to Watford, and they've been relegated. So we know the story of Fulham. Andre Schürrle, sacking of the managers, not a great one for them. Relegated back to the English Championship. Yeah. So if you're not ready, you're not ready.
You're not ready. And you know, the owner of Fulham, Mr. Khan, came out with an official statement, you know, apologizing to the fans that they're going to bounce back once again. Don't forget, whether I like it or not, Fulham is a traditional team, you know. The Craven Cottage guys, they're a traditional team in the EPL. They know how to find their way back into the EPL, but it's quite unfortunate. They spent over £80 million in acquiring the signing of players around Europe, you know, Sean Seri from Nice, they brought in Andy Scholler, they brought in Fosu Mensah. You can keep mentioning names. They brought in Callum Chambers from Arsenal. But, you know, it got to a point, and people were skeptical about the survival of Fulham. Signing too much of players, you need time to adapt. You know, having a lot of players in your team, they need time to gel.
Yes,
they need time to know
like the QPR example.
Yeah, it's like when Fernandes, when they gained promotion and Fernandes brought in a lot of players. You know, in fact, it's as if he brought in a new fresh 11.
What's that song again? Too much money.
Yeah, you know, they brought in a lot of players, and it's not like look at what's the name? Wolverhampton Wanderers with the support of George Mendes. You know, they brought in a few players with quality. So much quality. Players in core positions. They brought in Adama Traore from Middlesbrough, João Moutinho from Monaco, you know, Rhys Patricio as a goalkeeper. Just bringing 4 to 5 players in key areas that can help you to survive. Right now, they are not battling for survival. I think they are 7th right now.
Oh, no, yeah. They seem like a club that could make the top 6.
Yeah, for sure.
They are 7th right now.
No,
so,
they're out of the equation.
I think
top 6, they're out of the equation.
Yeah, they're definitely out. I think they have 40-something points, and the 6th place team has about 60 or 62 points, thereabouts. So I think they are quite out of the equation. Mr. Khan will learn from this,
and it's not about, we know he's one of the richest, he's among the richest men in the world, but business is different from sport business. Yeah. You don't just sign players because you feel you've got the money. You know, you sign players in core positions. They signed over 7 players, and they pay severely for it. And most of these players are outside the shore of England, Spain, France, you know, all across. Assuming they signed players from England,